Welcome to the Heal and Restore podcast with your host, me, Randy, and of course, Cathy Boyd, my beautiful hostess with the mostest that's here with us every week. Has made this podcast even greater.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. We're dedicated to helping couples and individuals strengthen their relationships through healing, growth, and conversation.
That's something we've had to do a lot of work at.
God. Number one issue with all of our couples is poor communication.
Right.
We dive into topics like communication, forgiveness, intimacy, and intimacy that we talk about is the emotional intimacy.
Right.
That's where the real intimacy is. Family and emotional connection. Because healthy love starts with a healed heart. Tune in each week. Take the next step toward restoring what matters most.
Yeah.
Me.
Why do you have to go that way?
Well, why not? Because I want to.
Let's move on. The listeners don't need to hear about you anymore. God.
Well, I commented you when we opened it.
Yes, you did.
Okay,
but now,
right.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
It didn't stay that way.
We got a good conversation based on our topic today, based on this conversation.
Well, yeah, that's pretty accurate here.
So today we're talking about something that every couple experiences. Yes, every couple, no matter how much you love each other, and that's this one evil word, conflict.
Conflict, yeah, right. Conflict is not fun. So if you've been married more than maybe 5 minutes, you've probably discovered that disagreements are part of the deal. And even if you're not married, you've discovered that disagreements are part of the deal.
We never disagree.
No.
What are you talking about? Absolutely. In fact, Cathy and I have had more than our fair share of them.
You added the word more.
I added because it's more than our fair share.
That is true.
Because how long have we been married?
A lot of years.
It'll be 42 years, August 20th.
Yeah, it's coming up here.
Can you
pretty
believe
quick.
she may stay married to me that long?
You say that every year.
Well, of course. I mean, it's another year. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Remember that? Remember that time we had that heated discussion? We were rearranging our living room?
I don't. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to go back there because I had one vision and you had a completely different vision. And honestly, it wasn't really about the furniture. It was about me feeling heard and respected. And so I think that's one of the things that conflict comes in is a lot of times there's not enough hearing and listening taking place. So,
and the thing about that is this, what I've learned to do. Cathy has made our house into a home. I've learned over the years to trust her judgment when it comes to the house.
But at the beginning, there was conflict.
No, of course there was. I mean, we were just married, and we had different ideas.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And that's what we're going to dig into today.
Yeah.
How to fight fair.
Yeah.
Our clients have said that.
Yeah.
You've learned to fight fair.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird, huh? And so that your disagreements actually build your relationship instead of breaking it down.
Yeah, no, it's important to learn how to fight fair. So we've got a couple areas we're going to talk about. And the first one we want to dive into is why conflict is normal and why it's healthy. A lot of people don't realize how normal, well, I think we realize it's normal, but we don't realize it's healthy. It feels uncomfortable.
It feels uncomfortable. And a lot of people absolutely, I'll say the word, despise conflict.
I'm one.
Cathy does not like conflict
No.
whatsoever.
No, but this podcast is really kind of opening my eyes. So I think one of the first myths that we have to bust through here is that healthy couples never fight. That's just not true. Healthy couples do fight. Maybe you don't see that, but if you ask a healthy couple if they have conflict, I'm sure that 99% of them are going to say, yeah, we have conflict.
Well, if you don't have conflict, it's not a very healthy marriage.
No, right.
That's just the reality of it, right? I mean,
yeah.
No, because, if we're human, if you are human, which we all are,
yeah.
and you're in a marriage, you're going to have disagreements. You're two different individuals that have come together through life and decided to spend the rest of your life together.
That's so true.
Right? And that's not a bad thing, right? In fact,
that's a new word.
In fact, conflict can be a sign of growth.
That I love.
Right? And matter of fact, with our clients, when our clients come and they've had a week of conflict, little Missy here is our biggest chick. She loves it, right? Because that conflict does equal growth.
Right. Yeah.
It means you're being honest about your needs, values, and perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so, so important. So really, honestly, when we think about it, the problem isn't conflict itself. It's really how we handle it.
That's exactly the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because usually it's because we've been triggered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something's going on in our life that we don't like. There's numerous things, but
Right.
here's what the Bible says for us to do. Ephesians 4:26 says, "In your anger, do not sin."
Mm-hmm. That's
So
good.
here's the thing: I ask a lot of people, "Do you believe it's okay to be angry?"
Mm-hmm.
Some majority will say no, but it's absolutely okay to be angry. It's actually, according to John Lee, one of the most healing emotions we can have.
Yeah.
The problem is we were never taught how to express our anger
Right.
properly, right?
Yeah.
So in your anger, do not sin. So it's not the anger that's the sin.
That's
This
good.
is really important to understand, right? It's what we choose to do with that anger.
Yeah. That's
How
good.
are we projecting that anger? Are we throwing daggers at our spouse? Are we bringing up the past? Man, there's just a plethora of stuff that creates that sin.
Right. Yeah. No, that's really good because healthy conflict really, when we think about it, it can actually help us deepen our understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We can build trust with each other,
Mm-hmm.
which I know that's something that I've worked through, and help us solve problems before they grow into bigger issues. And if we're not addressing conflict in a healthy manner, we don't get to grow. We don't get to mature. We don't get to see the other person's side of things. So really healthy conflict really does help us.
And just a little thing here that I always bring up, and I've got to bring it up here because it's very important. A lot of us were never taught how to deal with conflict.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our behavior is based on the way we grew up, of parents that didn't listen to us, coaches that didn't, teachers that were always putting us down. So when we become married, and now we're married and we're married to our best friend, hopefully that's who you married, and it has nothing to do with the disagreement the two of you are having. It's an old wound that's
Right.
being triggered.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. We've got
Yeah,
a process we can help you with
yeah,
here.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's really good. So we want to talk to a little bit about some common fight traps that couples can fall
Mhm.
into, and I think we've been into some of these as well.
yeah. But first up, Cathy,
Mm-hmm.
is the silent treatment.
Yeah,
And
yeah. You know, that's when one person will completely shut down instead of engaging in conversation. I have been known to be that person many, many times. And I think the biggest thing for me, I'll just speak on myself, the reason I go into silent treatment is I become very uncomfortable in the conflict. I feel like I'm not being heard, I'm not being validated, so I'll just shut down. I won't say anything.
Mhm.
So that's one of them is that silent treatment.
And here's, I'm going to ask a question. How many of you grew up and had your parents give you the silent treatment?
Mm-hmm. To learn behavior.
And it is one of the most, I had it happen to me quite often. It is a very devastating, emotional teardown of the human psyche, right?
No,
Cathy says she shuts down. Nothing like what happened to me when I was a kid. Cathy just needs that time to be quiet,
mm-hmm.
and I need the time to back off of her.
Yeah, but I do the silent treatment to protect myself,
Right?
And that's because I don't have the voice at that point to speak my
Exactly.
feelings. So it definitely, and all of these that we're talking about, we've experienced ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's not; these are not uncommon things.
No, all of our marriages that we work with, all the couples, they've all experienced this stuff, right?
What's another one?
Oh, scorekeeping. Oh, like bringing up past mistakes just to win an argument. Now, here's key. Again, biblical principle. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. I believe it's right around 5 or 6. Love is not keeping track of past wrong.
Yeah.
We keep no track of past wrong.
Yeah, that's good.
Cathy and I, we say it all the time. Been married now 42 years. We have never, and that's a big word. Never's a big word, but we have never thrown the past in each other's face.
Yeah.
Including the last 21 years after I had the affair.
Yeah.
Cathy has not once thrown that in my face.
Yeah. And another one you just mentioned the word never is overgeneralizing. A lot of people will say you always or you never, which it immediately puts us like we're feeling attacked and we have to be on the defense. So be mindful of overgeneralizing by using you always and you never.
Those two words, you always and you never, mean it's an absolute permanent statement.
And it's not always true.
It's very rarely
Yeah.
true. In fact, it's just a way of expressing anger and hurt.
Yeah, no, definitely. And what's the last
and
one?
And the final is defensiveness and blame shifting.
Yeah.
That's when we focus.
Not fun.
That's when the focus is on proving who's right instead of finding a solution.
Yeah. Those are the right fighters.
The right fighters, right?
Yeah.
It's like, not my fault, it's your fault. And we point the finger, and how many fingers are pointing back at us? 3, right? So admit your mistake.
Yeah. It's okay.
Right? It's okay.
Listen to
Learn
me.
from it.
It's
right?
okay.
Not what it, yeah.
I have a hard time with that, but that's something I am completely aware of, and I feel like I'm making progress.
So, one of the things I learned from my therapist, why is it a mistake? Is it a mistake? No. It's a learning opportunity. It's a learning opportunity. It's like failure. There's no such thing as, in my book, there's no such thing as failure unless you do absolutely nothing to resolve the situation. But those mistakes are just a learning opportunity.
Right.
So you're going to walk away when you can calm down. Each of you say, what did I learn from this conflict? And how can I approach it differently in the future?
And the thing is that these traps, they take the focus off exactly what you're saying, the understanding, and then they put it on winning. I'm going to win. And in your marriage, if one person wins the fight, you lose the connection with each other.
There's no winning or losing.
So there's no winning or losing. It's about finding understanding. It's about finding compromise and acceptance of what the situation brings.
One of the things Cathy and I practice, she brought it up a couple of years ago, is we work on making each other number one. That way we're always number one.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, it's hard in the middle of a conflict to do that. But it's something that way you're not always having to be a right fighter, or she's not always having to be a right fighter. We're both right. We both have a point that needs to be heard.
Right, and we don't have to always agree. But I love this final segment that we're going to come through, and it's called the C.A.L.M framework that we could use in conflict, because we're talking about the things that cause one person to win and losing connection, but now we need a solution in this.
I know we're using C.A.L.M as an acronym.
Yeah, C.A.L.M. C.A.L.M.
C.A.L.M.
Yeah. So share a little bit about this. This is what was really interesting.
I was out of town when Cathy put this together. She had no idea I told her, you have no idea what you did. So this C.A.L.M acronym is what my new book, Quit Taking Things Personally, is all about. Okay, there's going to be 4 chapters in it using the acronym C.A.L.M as laid out below. And when Cathy created this podcast, she had absolutely no idea.
I was like, how did that happen even?
What the book was going to be about.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
It's just another thing that this is what God wants us to do.
Yeah, that's so good. So, how do we avoid these traps? But what we are learning to do and what we have shared is to use that C.A.L.M acronym as our framework.
And here's what I don't think people seem not to understand. It's not a one and done. No. This is a lifetime practice. You're gonna go through life. You're gonna trip. You got to get back up and just, okay, what do I got to do to correct this? So this is not, you do it once and you got it.
This is a repetitive process.
Very much repetitive, right?
So let's walk through it. Tell us what the C in C.A.L.M represents.
The C represents clarify the trigger. Okay. So pause to identify what specifically set off your emotional response, separating the actual event from your assumptions.
Yeah, assumptions will get us,
makes an ass out of you and me, according to Jimmy Cricket.
Yeah,
right?
I remember that.
When emotions run high, it's easy to react without truly understanding why. So we want to take a moment to pause, identify the exact moment
that's good.
or word that set off our emotional response.
That's really good,
Okay. Ask yourself, what specifically am I reacting to? By separating the facts from your assumptions, you give yourself the clarity needed to respond with intention, rather than impulse. There's your favorite word, intention.
Intention. Yeah, absolutely. I can remember a time, and I probably have shared this before, but I can remember a time we were grocery shopping, we got home, and I was just completely frustrated, irritated, snappy, all these things. And actually, I did this. I had to stop and think what was going on. And for me, the trigger was I was hungry and I was tired, and I was reacting as a result of that. So how many times have I been hungry, and hunger triggers a reaction in me?
Oh, absolutely. Hungry, tired.
And I'm sure I'm not alone.
You know,
So clarifying that trigger is so important.
Right.
And I was able to do it in that moment when I went, hello, you haven't eaten. Of course you're irritable and you're reacting.
It's sometimes in the middle of conflict, it's hard to stop.
Yeah.
Right? So I talk a little bit about that in the new book that's coming out.
Yeah, no, that's good. So then the A in CALM is access the truth. And this is really key. We have to be able to examine the situation objectively. We have to by aligning our understanding of facts rather than feeling like we're all alone. Because feelings are real, but they're not always full of truth. And that's key. Just because we feel something doesn't mean it's true.
Right.
So we have to be able to step back. We have to be able to examine the situation objectively. And then what do we know to be fact? And what might be perception or misunderstanding? We have to look at those things. And then we have to be able to seek God's perspective. Invite wise counsel in if needed. That's so key. And then align your understanding with what is actually true, not just what you're feeling in the moment.
Right.
And we do a little thing with our clients too. There's just a few questions, and I'm not going to go into all of them. But the first two questions I think are key. Is it true? We can say, well, it might be. I don't know, maybe. But then we have to ask ourselves, is it absolutely true? So accessing that truth is key to being able to pull back and reflect.
So one of the things that we realize that in the heat of the moment, it's not really all that easy to stop yourself and start assessing this and ask yourself those questions.
Right.
So even after the heated development has calmed down enough, you've given each other time, then ask yourself those two questions.
Yeah, you can do that.
Do some self-reflecting.
After the fact. And we're going to talk about how we get to a place of calm.
There's been a couple situations of mine and Cathy's. There's been three that I can think of for sure. Recently was Cathy oftentimes, she would say stuff, and it reminded me, it triggered me that that's how my mother would talk to me. And it wasn't my mother. And we're saying, you're just like my mother, who don't ever say that to your wife. Be able to calm down and sit down. And I've had to go to Cathy on several occasions and say, hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't know this trigger was inside of me, right? And it wasn't you. I snapped at you because I felt like I did as a kid when my mom was punishing me or belittling.
So you were able to access your truth through that process.
But after the fact, not in the middle of it.
No, not at all, not at all. So what's the L stand for in CALM?
Let go of offense. Not so easily done, is it? Right?
No, not always.
Choose to release resentment.
Choose. That's a big action word right there.
I think it's a huge, because remember, everything we do is a choice.
Right.
Even doing nothing is a choice.
Yeah.
Everything we say, every way we react is a choice.
That's good.
So choose to release resentment, not to excuse the behavior, but to protect your own peace and well-being. Holding on to offense is like carrying a heavy weight that only slows you down and buries you in quicksand. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So choosing to release it doesn't mean you condone hurtful behavior.
No, that's true.
We're not condoning. I mean, I remember when I got in recovery, that's what they said. Understandable that you're angry about all this, and we're going to work you through this, and we understand. But we're not condoning your behavior.
Yeah, no, not okay.
It's a big difference,
yeah.
Okay? It means you value your peace and emotional health enough to put it down. All right, and we realize it isn't easy. It takes time. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of intentionality, as Cathy would say.
Absolutely.
Letting go opens the door for forgiveness. Oh, wait a minute. There's that word.
Forgiveness.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And remember, forgiveness is not for them. It's for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it opens the door for forgiveness, healing, and restoration, whether that's within the relationship or within yourself. And I will say this for forgiveness. Get my book, Healing the Wounded Child Within, and read chapter 12. It's all about forgiveness, what it is and what it isn't.
Right, right. And then finally, the M in CALM is to move forward with grace. We have to be able to choose again.
You're Cathy, not Grace.
Stop. You're interrupting my flow here. We have to remember to choose to release resentment. Again, not to excuse the behavior. So move forward with grace. Give yourself, I'll say give yourself a hug, but give yourself the opportunity to know that everything's going to be okay, that you are okay, that you are a child of God, that you are moving forward in a place of peace, and that you don't have to hold on to these things. You can actually release these things. So it's really important when we move forward with grace that we honor ourselves in that grace, and we honor the grace that God gives us each and every day.
That's an important part, God's grace, right? Because also we have to give our partner grace.
Yeah.
And to not do so.
Yeah.
What about the grace God has given you throughout your life? So
right.
You're getting all this grace. It's like if Jesus also says that if you want to be forgiven, you must forgive others. So He's given us His forgiveness and His grace. So why, who are we not to give it to others?
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's really good. So, yeah, give yourself some grace.
Yeah. So when we apply the CALM acronym, we slow down, we can listen better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And protect the relationship, even in disagreement.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just have to agree to disagree.
Right. No, that's true. And then, as we talked about, resetting in the heat of the moment. Sometimes, like you said, when we're in the heat of the moment, we can't think about calm. We can't think about anything. So,
the key to that, I don't know, but the key to that, I want people to understand this, because it's hard for us to stop because the adrenaline has kicked in.
That's true.
And once that adrenaline kicks in, you personally, sounds weird, but you're no longer talking, the adrenaline is talking.
Right.
And literally, you can't stop it.
Yeah, that's true. So what do we do if we're already heated, Randy?
It's a great question. So I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just need a pause.
Yeah,
right.
Good.
It's just like, well, time out. We always encourage couples to use the pause phrase, right? Like, can we take a 10-minute break and come back to this? Or you feel it coming on, you can even say, hey, it's getting awful cloudy in here, and I feel a rainstorm coming in. Let's just take a little sunshine break.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
You can come up with all sorts of different things to say to each other.
Different phrases that
that'll
break the moment.
That are calming in themselves, right?
Yeah, no, that's really good. And in that time, we can take time to pray. We can breathe. We can journal. We can just something that's going to simply cool you down. Because that break, it can prevent you from saying things that you'll regret later. And we've been in that place where we haven't taken that pause. And the words that have been spoken are hurtful words. And you don't want to get to that place.
And a couple of things on this. Choose your battles, right? And oftentimes, when you are able to take that break,
you look
and
back,
you reflect, you're going, what in God's name? It's so stupid to get in a heated argument over this.
Yeah.
She or he, they weren't attacking me. They were just expressing some feelings and ideas.
Why is this about me?
Why is it about me?
Yeah.
Why does all this have to be about me? Right?
Yeah, it's so true.
So remember, taking a break is not avoidance. It's an act of self-control and self-respect and love for your marriage.
That's so good. Yeah, I really love that. So we have some questions that we would like to leave our listeners with as we wrap up. And these are some questions that you can reflect on throughout this week. So the first question is, how do I usually react when I feel misunderstood in conflict? That's a really good one. So how do I usually react when I feel misunderstood in conflict? And the second one you can ask yourself is, which fight trap do I fall into most often? Once we become aware of the fight trap that we fall into most often, we know we can work and heal through that.
But how do we find that? How do we realize that? And that is the self-reflection.
Right, absolutely. And then the last question you can ask yourself, what's one step from the CALM acronym that I can practice in my next disagreement? So I'm going to encourage you guys to think about that. What is one step you can take in the CALM acronym that you can reflect in your next agreement.
You know, and one more thing on which fight trap do I fall into most often? Number one is self-reflection, but sometimes this is where a good mentor is going to come in so that you can talk about this, bounce things off of them.
Right.
That's what Kathy and I at Heal and Restore Counseling do with all our clients.
Right.
It's like sometimes we just don't know, we can't figure it out, and that's why a good mentor will always walk you through the process to help you discover it. Good coach, mentor, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
So we're going to have a call to action here. I think this is really important.
Yeah. We'd love to hear how you're putting these tools into practice. You can request your free CALM framework worksheet at healingrestorecounseling@gmail.com.
Yeah, just email us and we'll be happy to send that out to you.
And also be on the lookout for our next book release, Quit Taking Things Personally, which will probably be in a late fall.
Okay.
I'm hoping. That's my goal.
Yeah, that's working on that one. So, if this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend, leave us a review, because it really helps us to reach more couples who want to heal and restore their marriage or their relationship. So make sure you're sharing this with a friend. We also have YouTube is available. All of our podcasts get uploaded into YouTube, so you can always reflect on that through watching it again through YouTube. And also, we're on all of our social media platforms. There's always something in each week based upon what our subject is in our Monday podcast. There is always images and quotes and things that are put out, so it calls you and draws you into that podcast. So we want to make sure you're sharing that as well.
So as we close out another episode of our Heal and Restore podcast, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We would like to invite you to check out our books on Amazon. They're also available on our Heal and Restore Counseling.com website.
Absolutely.
Okay? So the first one is that's the second one. Sorry. Healing the Wounded Child Within. That was written by me, sharing the healing from the pain of abuse. How to Heal and Restore Your Marriage, a 4-step process to restore the most important relationships. Oh, I can hear it now. My marriage is fine. Boy, that's dangerous territory. We can all use a little help along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? The next one is Renewing Bonds, 7 steps to restoring your relationship. Hearts Reunited, steps to restore love and intimacy.
And I just want to stop right here. Does anybody see this pattern? There's steps. That means that you don't have to know it all and do it all at once. It's one step at a time.
That's good.
I've known this, but for some reason this really stood out. So these books are very light reading.
Right.
They're very intentional, but yet they're very simple.
Yeah, it's the Quit Taking Things Personally is another 4-step book.
Right. So steps are a lot easier to follow.
And there's always a little bit of action steps that you can take at the end. Not a whole lot, just some real simple ones.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So we've got Hearts Reunited. I have the 30-day devotion of the wholeness, which is a great 30-day devotional. At the end of every devotion, there's 3 to 4 contemplative questions that you can sit and answer yourself.
Yeah.
We have our couples read it together, and they do the questions together.
Yeah, it's really good.
On my most recent release, of course, is A Healing Path, A Survivor's Guide to Healing from Abuse. So that's written from my healing journey. Yeah, it has academic stuff in it because it was part of my journey.
Right.
But it's a great book. If you're struggling, how do I start this journey? There it is.
Yeah,
The Healing Path.
Where can they all find these books?
You get all these books either on Amazon or at our website, healingrestorecounseling.com.
Yep.
And most of them are available on paperback, Kindle, and Audible.
Good. And so I just also want to remind our listeners that here at Heal and Restore Counseling, we believe that healing happens best in relationships. Yep. And so in addition to the books that we offer, we understand the value of walking alongside someone on their healing journey. And so that's why we offer our complimentary 1-hour discovery session. And what that is, it's an opportunity for you to share where you are, what you're looking for, what you're going through, while we get to share a little bit about us and our journey. And we found this to be such a powerful tool in building trust as you begin a path towards your healing. So if you're interested in a 1-hour complimentary discovery session, please reach out to us at healandrestorecounseling.com. We'll get back to you typically within 24 hours and set that up. And it can be done in person if you're local to us, or it can be done through Zoom.
Right. And that complimentary discovery session is key because I'm going to elaborate on just a little bit, is that this is going to be a journey you're going to walk with us. And we have clients that stay with us for over a year, right? So we need to make sure that we are a right fit for you, you're a right fit for us. So far, it's been 98% success. I mean, so, and that way you're comfortable knowing what you're walking into. So
Absolutely.
Speak, right?
Yeah, no, we love that. So that's awesome. This was a good one, honey. I guess I picked out a good one, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, as always.
I always love doing some research and finding things that we can relate to because we've experienced it and that we can pass on and share to our listeners.
Exactly.
So thank you.
Exactly. Of course. No, thank you.
Thank you.
You do a great job researching this stuff.
Thank you, honey.
And it's always fitting to our life.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
We're the belief that if we haven't experienced any of the things that we work with people with, we would not have the right to help people walk.
Absolutely.
Right. We've experienced the dark side, we've experienced the middle, and we've experienced the light and the healing.
Yeah.
And we know what that journey's like.
And we're still on the journey. You know, we're not, we'll be on the journey the rest of our lives.
I'm perfect. You know that.
Yeah, that's good. Close us out here, sir.
All right. So, is that it?
That's it.
All right. So remember this. If nobody tells you they love you today, Randy does.
Cathy does.
More importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a fabulous week.
Be blessed.